You sit there, staring at two choices that both feel wrong, not because you don't understand them, but because both feel true. One part of you wants to move forward. The other pulls you back, quietly, persistently. And the more you think, the more tangled it becomes. So you tell yourself, I'm just confused. But what if you're not confused at all? What if you're divided? There's a very specific kind of mental tension that doesn't feel like chaos. It feels like clarity fighting clarity. You can see the benefits of change. You understand what needs to be done, and yet something inside resists. Not loudly, not dramatically, just enough to stop you. So you go in circles, you overthink, you delay, you question yourself, not because you lack intelligence, but because two internal systems are pulling in opposite directions. In psychology, this is often linked to cognitive dissonance, the discomfort that arises when two beliefs or desires conflict. But what you're experiencing goes deeper than a simple contradiction. This is not just about beliefs, it's about identity. You are not broken. You are not indecisive. You are not weak. You are multi-layered. Inside you isn't just one voice. There are systems, versions, patterns built at different times for different reasons, and sometimes they don't agree. One part of you was built for safety. Another was built for growth. One learned to avoid risk. Another learned to seek meaning. Both are trying to help you, but they are using different maps of reality. So when you feel stuck, it's not failure, it's internal negotiation. To understand this, you have to look at how the brain organizes the self, not as one unified identity, but as a collection of systems. Different brain networks handle different priorities. The limbic system focuses on survival and emotional memory. The prefrontal cortex handles planning, reasoning, and long-term goals. These systems don't always align. The limbic system asks, is this safe? The prefrontal cortex asks, is this meaningful? And sometimes meaning requires risk, so conflict emerges. Over time, your experiences don't just shape behavior, they create internal models. Parts of you that carry their own fears, their own goals, their own logic. Think of your mind like a round table. Different versions of you are sitting there. One says, stay where it's predictable. Another says, you're wasting your life. Another whispers, if you try, you might fail. And another responds, if you don't try, you already have. This is not confusion. This is a conversation happening beneath awareness. And when you don't recognize it as a conversation, it feels like noise. So how do you move forward when your mind is split? Not by forcing clarity, but by structuring the dialogue. First, name the parts. Instead of saying, I'm confused, say, a part of me wants this, another part doesn't. This creates distance, and distance creates clarity. Second, identify the function, not the fear. Every resistant part is trying to protect you, even if it feels irrational. Ask yourself, what is this part trying to prevent? Fear of failure? Rejection? Loss of control? The brain prioritizes safety over progress, so resistance is not sabotage, it's protection, misapplied to a new situation. Third, update the prediction system. Your brain runs on prediction. It constantly asks, what is likely to happen next? And it answers based on the past. If a part of you learned that risk leads to pain, it will continue to block action, not because it's right, but because it's consistent. To shift this, you don't need a huge leap. You need small, safe contradictions, tiny actions that prove a new outcome is possible. This is how the brain updates its model, not through logic, but through experience. Fourth, create internal leadership. When multiple parts speak, someone needs to listen, not react, not suppress, but lead. There is a part of you that can observe everything without becoming it. When you operate from this place, you don't eliminate conflict, you organize it. You hear the fear, but you don't hand it control. So what does all of this come down to? A simple model. You are not one voice, you are a system. And systems don't need silence to function well. They need coordination. Imagine your mind like an orchestra, different instruments playing different notes. If they all try to dominate, it becomes noise. But with a conductor, the same sounds become music. Your goal is not to eliminate the part that resists or the part that pushes. Your goal is to hear both and choose consciously. Because clarity is not the absence of conflict, it's the ability to move with it. So the next time you feel stuck, pause and listen more carefully, not to the surface noise, but to the structure beneath it. You might notice something subtle. You are not lost, you are in dialogue. And that changes everything. Because once you see the split, you stop fighting yourself and start understanding how to move forward with all of you.